It's 6 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order. If you'll please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. If you would please remain standing for the invocation.
Sorry about that. Well, bow our heads. I want to pray for the city and that we have a good bunch of people up here that's going to run the city, and that we have to put our hands in their hands. And I want to give thanks to them and the mayor and the pro temp, and all the council members and the first responders and the people that are out there all the time in this kind of weather we're having, nasty, cold weather. And I want to ask that we all take in mind sometimes about how the city is run and the people that we have that's running the city. It takes a lot of people to run this city, and we want to be thankful for all this that we have. And I just want to think that we got the people in here that I think can do the right things for the city if we give them a chance. And I thank you, and everybody have a good holiday, and we all say amen.
Amen. Thank you. Mike, if you'll take the roll call, please.
Yes, Madam Mayor. Councilman Schlatt.
Present.
Councilman Barr.
Present.
Councilman Marcos.
Here.
Councilman Valerius.
Here.
Councilwoman Neck.
Here.
Pro Tem Estimer.
Here.
Treasurer Liberati. And Mayor McLeod.
Here.
We have a quorum, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. I have a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
Motion, Mayor.
Motion by Mr. Schlack,
Second.
second by Mr. Marcos. Any changes or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. May I have a motion to approve the minutes from the meeting of November 28th?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Marcos, second by Mr. Barr. Any corrections? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Move on to some organizational business, and this evening I have the great pleasure of recommending for appointment to the Parks and Recreation Commission as a student commissioner, Ms. Jesica Courtright, who is a senior at the Allen Park High School. She will serve on this commission until the end of the school year in May of 2024. I would like you all to thank her for volunteering to do this, and I ask that you, I have a motion to approve that appointment.
Motion, Mayor.
Motion by Mr. Estimer,
Second.
second by Mr. Valerius. Comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Right. We will now swear her in.
Please bear with me. Got a sinus infection, so I'm going to read this. You don't have to repeat after me, don't worry. And at the end, just say, I do, I swear, or I affirm, whatever you feel most comfortable with. So, do you solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Michigan, and that you will endeavor to secure and maintain an honest and efficient administration of the affairs of the city of Allen Park, free from partisan distinction or control, and that you will perform the duties of Park and Recreation Student Commissioner to the best of your ability, so help you God? I do. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike. Next on our agenda is a study session schedule for 2024. May I have a motion for approval?
Motion, Mayor.
Motion by Ms. Nick, second by Mr. Schlack. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you. Now it's Mr. Mizzi's turn.
All right, today I'm bringing before you, though you adopt it, I despise using this term, but it is a living, breathing document. When we adopt the meeting schedule, we just have to basically notify the public, these are our intentions ahead of time, and we're meeting our charter requirement. But, and the reason I say that is because like February, Tuesday, the 20th is a third Tuesday, but the fourth Tuesday is the presidential primary date. So, which we do use this room for counting absentee ballots. So, and that's, I should have brought this up earlier. But also that is why like some others may be affected with the 9-day early voting. It's just the more about the new laws that run through my mind. I'm going to a training on Thursday, yes, another one. But I'm just making sure. I will confirm everything again, but that's why I say it's living and breathing. We will always post on our legal boards. We will always put it on the internet, and any change we make, location, time, date, we do have to adopt in an open meeting as a board. So I'm just look, I'm an elections official. I'm getting too nitpicky and specific. So, but yeah, so this is the schedule I put before the mayor and council for the 2024 council meeting schedule, Mayor.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Valerius.
Second.
Second by Mr. Barr. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, council.
City Administrator.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, residents of Allen Park. Just a few updates as to what's going on here in the city as we get ready for the end of the year. We first and foremost want to congratulate Detective Jason Wagner for his retirement from the Allen Park Police Department after 27 years of service. Had a great, looked like a great event yesterday, and with the chief and the officers there to wish him well in his future endeavors, and not too sure where he's going, but hopefully he's going to enjoy some time off briefly. So congratulations, Detective Wagner, 27 years. I reported back in October that Wayne County was doing the topo survey of Allen Road between Southfield and Outer Drive, which is usually part of their design for future repairs. It now looks like they're going to be repaving, resurfacing Allen Road from Southfield to Outer Drive in late 2024. So that'll be a nice improvement on North Allen Road. Definitely needed. I want to congratulate the Parks and Recreation Administration and staff. They hosted the open house for the 20th anniversary of the Community Center on the 29th of November. Wonderful event. A lot of people there. We also need to do a special thank you to Detroit Wing Company. They provided wings and french fries for those that were in attendance. And I believe they gave away 3,600 wings that night. And so we do appreciate that. No cost to any of the visitors, no cost to the city recreation department. So thank you to Detroit Wing Company as well for that. Just taking notice as you drive around town on Park Avenue, Mid-Allen, North Allen, the DDA Christmas decorations look really nice out there. They replaced the snowflakes with the poinsettia, Christmas tree, and candy canes. And I think that is a 3-year commitment that the DDA has made to rent those and get those out. So look really nice. I know they were still working on a couple lighting issues on a few of them, but they do look really good out there. And then we have the audit presentation by Plant Moran. So that'll require the study session next week to be at 5:15 start time instead of the 5:30. So 5:15 study session for the Plant Moran audit presentation. And then finally, City Hall will be closed for the upcoming holidays. We'll be closed Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. That'll be the Friday the 22nd and Monday the 25th. And also for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, Friday, December 29th and Monday, January 1st. I know everybody will be busy on January 1st watching Michigan football play in the CFP playoffs. Nobody knows. I'm a huge Michigan fan. So nobody would ever know if you go to my office either. So. Thank you.
May I have a motion to accept and file the administrator's report? Motion by Mr. Marcos, second by Mr. Barr. Any comments or questions? I will just add on about the DDA decorations. There's an option every year that they may be under the contract, they may be changed so they don't have to be the same ones. And I also understand that there is going to be a couple of proposals to add GFI outlets to other areas of poles in the DDA area so that the DDA will be lighting up all of the streets that come under them. That would be, of course, and Allen Road to Englewood. So we're going to light up the city and look festive. Thank you. We will now move on to the public comment section. Anyone wishing to may come up and speak. You have 4 minutes. All that we ask is that you provide your name and the street on which you live. Please do not provide the full address. And the only other thing is that we ask that you be civil. I would mention one other thing. Anyone who does have a question, we do have sheets up at the podium. If there is something that cannot be answered by one of our department heads later on, we will get back to you. So public comments is open.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, Raymond Gusson-Quant. I got a couple questions, and it'll probably be real easy for you guys to answer. When it comes to the resolution, I also noticed that lead water lines are going to be replaced. Are those in a particular area, or are they no matter, or is it just for any household that has lead water lines? Now, when it comes to that, is the funding coming from the federal government under the Clean Water Act, underneath the brand new funding that is out there to go ahead and get rid of all the lead pipes that are in, let's say, the United States? But go right ahead, that's all I...
If I can, Chair. This particular grant that's on the agenda later in the agenda item here is for the financially distressed communities, villages, and townships grant. So that is not the same. There is another funding source for those, for lead as well. So we were just putting in through this. We'll also be putting in through the one that you mentioned, the clean water funding. There's going to be a lot of funding for lead through those programs as well. So just trying to go through both programs at this point.
Well, thank you very much.
These are for some of the known lead services, and the request here is for 12, to cover 12 services. It's not a lot of money. They only have $2.5 million in the FDCVT program. So this was a program, if you recall, and Ray, you've been around for a few years. This started with the emergency manager, came about many years ago, not just for Allen Park, but that program has been expanded to allow other communities that meet the criteria, and the funding went, I believe the first year was maybe it was 2.5, and it went up to 5. It's back down to 2.5 at this point in time. So we put in what we think was going to be a number that they would reach, which was, I think the request for their grant funding was about $75,000. $97,000, and another one for $45,000. Trying to get in that spot just to see if they'll fund it, as they were looking for the ability to fund a number of communities as opposed to a few bigger projects.
Well, thank you, Mark. are all our lead water pipes, lead water lines, service lines for our community, are they identified?
I was indicating no, and I believe that's part of the program as they go through. There's also going to be grant funding allowed
Okay.
for potholing
All
to
right.
check. And if I understand how the potholing process works, it'll be on both sides of the service to see if it's a city issue or if it's on the residential issue. It doesn't really matter if it's on the residential issue because it still has to be resolved.
Correct. Thank you very much. You guys have a great day.
Good evening. My name is Roderick Lilienthal, Master Sergeant Roderick Lilienthal, Air Force retired. I live on Kolb in front of the high school. We have a big parking problem in front of the high school. On each day, school days, no parking between 11 and 2 o'clock. High school students are allowed to park, no violations. Allen Park residents, some of my neighbors, including my father, have got tickets parking out there during that time. Also, there's no parking on garbage day between 8 o'clock and 5 p.m. Between 2:15 and about 3 o'clock, you can't get down the street. Today, they were parked free wide, parked in the middle of the street. You can barely get out of your driveway. And number two is we have a fire hydrant on the street. The Allen Park City could make a lot of money off that fire hydrant. In front of that house, there are always 2 high school student cars, always parked. Last week, I called the central dispatch number, the Downriver Central Dispatch number, made a complaint. Then I talked to an Allen Park police officer on the phone. Then last Wednesday, I had enough, took a picture, and last Wednesday, about 12 noon, talked to the desk sergeant here at the police station about it. I don't know, and no tickets. In fact, I did see the ordinance warden out last week after I made the complaint, and I did see him Monday warning two parents to move away from the fire hydrant. And also, you got a sign next to the corner: "Do not park this side. Do not park this side of the sign." That's a violation too. There's a parking lot on Pelham Road across from Saveland, dirt parking lot in Champaign Park, next to the roller rink, twice as big or 3 times as big as the high school parking lot. Nobody parks there. From what I understand, I have no idea if this is true or not, just from what my neighbors told me, there was a secret agreement between the principal of Allen Park High School and someone in the city, I don't know who, I don't know if this is true or not, that the students can park there all day long with no problems. I don't mind if they park there. Don't make a racket. Don't make a scene. And if they can park there, then why can't the residents park there without getting a parking ticket? I have pictures, if anybody wants to take a look at the pictures. I have pictures from today. I have pictures of the cars parked in front of the fire hydrants. If you guys really want to see them, I got the pictures. I got the pictures of the garbage day today too, also. Parking right underneath the sign that says, "No parking between 8 and 5 on Tuesdays." Thank you very much.
No one else is coming up. We will close the public comments and move on to the consent agenda. Tonight's consent agenda includes purchasing actions, financial actions, and 2 licenses and permits for curbside pickup. May I have a motion? Motion by Mr. Marcos. Second by Mr. Valerius. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried. We will now move on to resolutions, the first one being that the mayor and council ratify the action of the city administrator regarding the submission of applications for the 2 financially distressed cities, villages, and townships grant projects for removal of underground fuel storage tanks and lead water service line replacement to the state of Michigan. May I have a motion? Motion by Ms. Nick. Second by Mr. Barr. And I have an explanation of this,
If I may,
please.
through the chair. So we submitted two grants that were due by Friday. The first one was for the removal of the underground fuel storage tanks, which is at the fire department parking lot. The total cost of that project is estimated to be $58,434. We were seeking 75% from the state of Michigan Financially Distressed Communities, Villages, and Township Program for $43,825.50 with a match of $14,608.50. The second grant application was the one that President McGusson mentioned earlier, lead water service line replacement. Total estimated project cost was $127,382.75. Requested funding was $95,537.06, and a match for the city for $31,845.69. The question came about earlier in a study session from Councilman Valeris. It's the timing for the underground fuel storage tanks current project that's being constructed at the APHS facility off of Outer Drive, and we anticipate that to be done around June 30th, with this project starting July 1st, if funded. That was listed as the priority one, is the fuel storage tank removal. I also mentioned in the study session that the liability insurance for the underground storage tanks that are at the fire station, there's a 5,000 gallon tank and a 10,000 gallon tank. The premium doubled for this past year, and the deductible also doubled from $25,000 to $50,000 if there's an issue. The reason being is the tanks are over 30 years old. They were put in 1992, so they are now past their useful life of 30 years, and that's why the reason for those increases in the insurance cost. Once the system goes online at the DPS, we have just a short period of time, I think it's a year or so, to be able to remove those out, a year and a half to take those tanks out. So this is going to be falling right in that same timeline.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is carried. Resolution 2 is to approve the intergovernmental agreement between the Charter of Wayne and cities of Allen Park and Taylor for the improvements to Pelham Road from Ecorse to Van Born, work orders 47-163. Motion, please.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Schlack.
Second.
Second by Mr. Marcos. Someone enlighten us on this one.
I'll explain it.
Looking at the wrong person?
So I'll explain it. Anytime the Wayne County does a project that's within your city limits, you have a co-pay on that. They'd pay the majority, we typically pay 5%. With this project specific, it's Taylor and Allen Park, so we get approximately 2.5 when you break it down, but it is also almost a $3 million project, so it's gonna cost us the $50,000 up front. I think it's $49,000 and some change, and it'll be approximately another $50,000 by the end of this. So just keep in mind, whenever you want county to do a project, we still pay a portion, just so you know. But this is how it's done throughout the county and always has been.
We have any questions?
Mayor, these funds, do they come out of just the general fund, or is there specific, or does it come out of your
I
department?
can answer that.
Yeah, please.
So Act 51, when Amanda and I make that budget per year, has different line items. And we always have a line item that says Wayne County projects at the bottom, and that's what that is allocated for.
So you do budget for a certain,
When we know about it.
when you know that, okay.
So we put $80,000 away this year with anticipation, but did not know the total cost, because by the time we make our budget, they have not yet put it out for a bid. So when the bid comes in, we could be either slightly low or we could be slightly high. We're slightly low, but we'll be able to take it out of other Act 51 payments to do that.
Thank you so much.
Just on that same topic, that's what Tom had a meeting with the Wayne County Deputy Director was at.
Cabot.
Regarding Allen Road, if you can talk about that.
Oh, you want me to talk about
Yeah,
that?
just,
Okay.
we need to ask them to
So,
make sure.
so
we
to
get
give
the
you a little
number.
insight about how county works or has worked in the past is, they're not very good about telling us they're doing a project till they start the project. So it's hard to budget for the said project. Today we had a conversation because Allen Road from Outer Drive to Southfield, I fell upon that project actually getting done through a meeting they're having every other week. They were talking about the projects they were doing currently, And I asked them about what you heard from Mark earlier, why is a survey crew out there a couple months back? And they had no idea what I was talking about until they started asking their engineers that were online on that same meeting, and it came forward that they were gonna be doing that project next year, but never informed us they were doing said project. So today I had a meeting with the Deputy Director of Wayne County on that and asked him if they could start actually being a little more ahead of the schedule so we can budget for such, and so we could let the residents know the good news, and they should actually be promoting themselves, because this is something that'll be big for Allen Park, and people are gonna realize that it's good that Wayne County's doing it, but they're not too good about telling us until they do it. But they're gonna try to work better in the future, and I'm supposed to get official correspondence, which we haven't had yet, in writing that they're doing it, but it is next year at some point.
And it sounds like they're not letting some of their own people know.
Yeah, they didn't know between engineers and contractors who was doing what on that call.
But
But it's getting better.
As much as we are critical of Wayne County, the current leadership there with Director Andrew Candrivas, and Deputy Director Scott Kebawatan, and if you've been around the city for a while, Scott Kebawatan should be familiar because he was the Republic Waste representative. The communication with them, with those two gentlemen, is much, much improved over the past administration. That was very lacking.
I'll second that.
So as much as we
They're more
criticize, I gotta
informative.
make sure we praise them as well.
Yeah, they're
I've
very
talked
more
to-
informed.
You told that to Deputy Director Kebawatan, I told that to Director Candrivas a month ago as well. You hear the bad stuff, but we need to make sure we're telling you when we hear good stuff too.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is approved. Next resolution is to appoint Mayor McLeod as the primary rep and Pro Tem Estimer as the alternate rep to the Downriver Utility Wastewater Authority Board. Motion.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Marcos.
Second.
Second by Ms. Mick. Any comments or questions? Just so you're familiar, this is a requirement of the Downriver Utility Wastewater Authority, when there are appointments to their board, that it must be done by resolution of the council. And I currently sit on that board and have been. Questions?
Yeah, I thank you for the appointment, and I have received the 78-page agenda or minutes, so still in the process of looking that over. I need a couple more days. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is approved. Resolution 4, that the mayor and council ratify the action of the city administrator regarding the submission of a grant application to the America in Bloom Canadian National Rail Echo Connections from the Ground Up program for the Allen Park Historical Museum. Motion.
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Nick.
Second.
Second by Mr. Barr.
Yeah, through the chair, if I may, this grant application is for the Historical Museum. This is the same grant, the same grant that we just were awarded for the Brand Park and Champaign Park. The Brand Park Vietnam Veterans and Beyond Memorial, and the Champaign Park Blue Star Memorial, in which we received $25,000 from American Bloom through the CN Rail. And we qualify because we do have CN Rail going through the city. Unfortunately, that was a topic earlier that they blocked the crossing at the high school for 2 hours a couple days ago. This application here is a 50-50 match, $25,000 it can be requested. They will not pay for hardscape, so no concrete, no benches, anything on that front, but they will pay for all the landscaping. And they have been a really good group to work with. There was a lot of work that went into getting the grant for the two memorials, and then the subsequent membership and the tour that they took. And so kind of want to still piggyback off of that work that we put in already and put this application in. I did call, I talked to the young lady from American Bloom. I talked to her the Monday after Thanksgiving, which is also the Monday after the Michigan football game with Ohio State, and she happens to be a Buckeye. She let me go on a little bit, and then she still said that we could qualify for a grant. So I was very happy about that. My biggest question to them was, if we put this in, although we were funded under, in the 22 grant cycle, would we still be eligible for the 23? She said yes. Many communities have been awarded multiple years. So that was why we picked this location here. I'd still like to work with Director Ben Hughes from the DDA on the railroad viaduct crossing at Ecorse Road in the future. I think that's one that could definitely qualify for some improvement, maybe even a mural of some sort. But we'll work on that as we have a little bit more time going forth to the 24 application.
Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? As carried. We will now come to council elected official comments. And this evening, we will start with Mr. Valerius.
Great. I'll just keep it short. I just wanted to congratulate again Detective Wagner for 27 years of his service as a police officer. I wish him all the best in retirement. Also want to thank Jessica for you volunteering to take time to serve as a student commissioner on the Parks and Rec Commission. As the city liaison to that commission, I'm looking forward to working with you in the commission. So. Also wanted to throw thanks out to Rob and Kyle and Evan and everyone at Parks and Rec at 20th anniversary. That was really awesome. And as a coach of a hockey team that had the opportunity to quite possibly move to the arena, I'm kind of regretting it now. So we'll just leave it at that. And last, I just wanted to wish a belated birthday to my wife, Holly, who celebrated her birthday on December 9th. And with that, I yield.
Thank you. Councilman Marcos.
Well, you pretty much got everything I was going to say. It's good. Just echo everything. Detective Wagner, thank you, 27 years. I saw the post on Facebook, and I saw the first picture, and I goes, well, he's pretty young. And then I realized, oh, it was a starting picture, starting day. So, sorry, and then I got the last picture, so he does, just had a beard. Just said it was only a little different, so, yeah. But thank you for your service, and enjoy your retirement. It's great. Jessica, thank you for volunteering for the student commission. We need more like you. It's a pleasure to have you on. It really is. I did want to mention that I did drive around All Allen Park the other night, and the lights do look terrific. And I was speaking with Ben, and there are options every year for different types of lighting, so we won't have a stale every year thing. It's going to be different every year, so it's going to get kind of neat. And the city looks terrific, and they're going to extend it once they get all the electrical in and the light poles and everything, so it's going to look terrific. I'm going to thank Dan for coming. Good to see you again. Appreciate everybody that comes to the meetings. Again, I'd like to see more. I always like to see more. And sir, I apologize. I didn't catch your name, but I understand your problem at the parking. This is not exclusive to the high school. Lindeman, middle school, Arno, I see. It's daily, and I know you have probably more with the students. The other ones are the parents, and I think the parents need to kind of appreciate where they're at and who lives there and the parking situations, and have some respect for the owners that are living there, and try to help out and try not to make such a mess. You know, it's hard. You know, you want to send police out there and give tickets to everybody in the park, then you're going to all hate the police, and you know, it's going to be just a mess. So parents need to be aware of what's going on and how the parking is, and not block the streets, and not park in the bus areas, and try to keep it neat. So other than that, I have my last two things of the night, my tidbits. Today is the Festival of Unmentionable Thoughts of Taboo Day. Oh. And I don't know what that means. And it's also, it goes kind of hand in hand. It's National Ding-a-ling Day. And with that, thank you. Good night.
Mr. Barr.
Well, I cannot really top what everybody else has been saying. As I have said in the past, I have been walking the neighborhoods. I did not get into your neighborhood today, sir. So I will be looking around, especially on Tuesdays, you said?
Tuesdays, 2:15 between 3 o'clock.
Okay.
And then if there was a fire truck or an ambulance coming down,
I'm sorry, we can't have an exchange, but we will get your information if you'll hang around, please.
Do high school kids get that?
Please pass it along. It's all right. I have been, like I said, I've been walking the streets, and I have to say thank you to the city department, DPW, Parks and Rec, to our contractors, Savone Cement, and what was the name of the smoke dust people? I was out there in my neighborhood, and I'm saying thank you. Last thing, since we're into the holiday season, we are in the middle of Hanukkah, and I want to say happy Hanukkah to all of our residents that celebrate that. So next week, probably be Christmas. So, other than that, I yield.
Thank you. Mr. Schlack.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I want to start with thank you, Jessica, for staying around, especially hear us all say something. Usually we say something after, but the fact you stayed around is it's a good telling sign that you're going to do a great job. So thank you for stepping up for that. I also want to say congratulations to Detective Wagner on his retirement. Hopefully it's joyful. Happy Hanukkah to all those who celebrate. That was on my list to say. But I also want to say my condolences to Ms. Deb Zettel for the passing of her father that just passed away recently. So I know it's always tough, especially around the holidays. I wanted to mention that Councilwoman Nick and I attended the Southern Wayne County Regional Chamber of Commerce event, Salute to Downriver. That was a good event where we got to mingle and mix with some different elected officials and hear different opinions about, as well as different organizations. So that was a good event to attend. I also want to say a special thanks to the Allen Park Fire Department for hosting Breakfast with Santa this past Sunday. All those who attended had a great time, and it was a lot of pancakes were served, and got to see some fantastic artwork that they've put up on the wall of a wooden flag that definitely was great to see by a local company, Five Lakes Wood Company. And I also wanted to say thanks to the DDA that hosted a holiday market. That was on the 1st of December, but that was a good event, and I'm happy, hopefully those who attended were able to purchase new things or at least meet vendors and maybe purchase things in the future. So we need to continue supporting local businesses, especially during the holidays. And finally, let's hope that our Lions can pull it up, despite this last week that was tough, against these Denver Broncos on Saturday. So 2 Saturday games in a row. So that's something I personally can get used to. But other than that, I will yield and see you next week. Thank you.
You. Mr. Estheimer.
Thank you, Mayor. Really just want to thank my fellow councilmen for saying everything that I was going to say, so thank you so much. I will just point out that I'm super proud today to have made the motion for Jesica. My wife was her teacher. We've known each other for a long time in the family, so I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud of what you're doing. I was proud of you from the beginning, but seeing you grow, especially at the Meet the Candidates night, you taking ownership of that process and stepping up to help your city. Truly appreciate it. Very, very proud of you. And with that, I yield.
Thank you. Ms. Nick.
Okay, I'm going to keep it short because I can't talk very well. But I just want, when you leave tonight, I'd like you to look over at the showcase. One of our residents, he was a top woodworker in the state of Michigan, so you'll see the flags and everything, so you guys can see that. His name's Len Perota. So with that, hope everybody has a good night, and I yield.
Thank you. Mr. Liberati.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. I'm going to try to keep this short, but it's, as I said at the Meet the Candidate night back in October, because the Treasurer's responsibilities have been diminished since our current charter was adopted almost 25 years ago, and because the position was changed from a full-time position with full-time pay to a part-time position with part-time pay and no benefits, we're it to try to figure out how to make a position of part-time treasurer work. So let me explain why I thought my experience in public service was valuable in figuring out how moving from a full-time elected treasurer to a part-time elected treasurer in Allen Park would look like. I served as a part-time elected official on the Allen Park Public Schools Board of Education for 8.5 years, from July 2004 to the end of 2012. It was truly a part-time position. This was a few years after my wife and I opened our store, Liberati's Italian Deli and Bakery on Allen Road. I was working 80 to 90, sometimes 100 hours a week at my store, but I obviously found the time to fulfill my duties as a school board member. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I think I did a pretty good job at the part-time elected position. I was reelected for a second term on the board by the residents of the Allen Park Public School District, and my colleagues on the Board of Education elected me president 7 years in a row. I'm very proud of the work I did on the Board of Education. I also have experience as a full-time publicly elected official. I served 6 years in Lansing as your state representative. That was a full-time job with full-time benefits. So I was able to hire full-time managers to run my store, and I assumed a much lesser role in the day-to-day business. But again, I think I did a good job as a full-time public servant representing you in Lansing. I was reelected twice, and I was able to get a lot accomplished as your state representative. I brought a lot of funds to our city, and I was able to introduce and pass bills that helped a lot of people in our state, even though all 6 years I was a member of the minority party in the House of Representatives. It was different serving the residents of Allen Park full-time versus part-time. I was always able to provide top-notch products and top-notch service to my customers at Liberati's. I was also able to provide top-notch public service as a publicly elected official under both positions. I also like to think I was able to be a good husband and father to my wife and kids through my 14.5 years of public service. Even though the duties and responsibilities of the treasurer of Allen Park have been diminished throughout the years, in my opinion, it is still not a position that can be done well on a part-time basis. Unlike a part-time school board member, city council person, or even our part-time mayor, I don't believe the lowered expectations of the treasurer can still be accomplished well in a part-time position. I've never done anything professionally or personally without giving it my best. But the pseudo part-time treasurer position, I believe if I try to give it my best, as I have in my 14.5 years as a public servant, my 22 years serving the local community at my store, and to my wife of 34 years, one of the three, or all three, will suffer. Either the citizens of Allen Park, the customers of Liberati's Italian Deli and Bakery, or my family will not get the dedication, devotion, or great service and products they have come to expect from me. I will not let that happen. Because of this, I'm resigning my position as treasurer of City of Allen Park, effective the end of today, December 12, 2023. Thank you.
Mr. Mizzi.
Sorry to hear that, Greg. I'm the clerk. I gotta act like a clerk. Do we need to accept that in any formal way? I mean,
I do have a resignation. I do have a resignation letter I was given to Mayor McLeod
and Frank, I mean no disrespect. Do you mind giving it to me?
Absolutely.
It will be so recorded in the minutes.
Any other further comments?
Thank you all for coming out. God bless you. Good night.
Well, I will add congratulations to our retiring police officer. There's not much else to be said. My fellow council persons have covered every other base. It seems that since I've been elected mayor, we have undergone some major changes with every term. Regrettably, with this one, we will have to change course again. I wish Mr. Liberati well. I know that he has had to struggle with a number of things, and I do admire his priorities and respect that, so thank you. Have nothing further to say other than wishing those who celebrate Hanukkah, happy Hanukkah. May it be peaceful, may you have joy. And may I have a motion for?
Motion to adjourn, Mayor.
Mr. Estheimer. Second by Mr. Schlack. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? We are adjourned at 6:46 PM.